So to start this problem out, I guess we're going to need to have to take the derivative of both sides of our original equation with respect to t. So if I do that, I'm going to get dy dt, and the thing on the other side is going to be a quotient rule, or I suppose I could have rewritten this as 10 times 1 plus x squared to the negative 1 power. That's another way to do it, and maybe that's a little bit easier. Let's try the second way. We've got a constant 10. We drop down the power. We leave the inside the same. We reduce the power by 1, and then we multiply by the chain rule. And we end up with negative 20x over 1 plus x squared squared. Oh, I forgot one more chain rule. I forgot to put right in there one more chain rule. Dx dt. Because we're not taking the derivative with respect to x, we're taking the derivative with respect to t. Alright, so negative 20x over 1 plus x squared, quantity squared, dx dt. So, what is dy dt when x is negative 2? And that is, it's going to be dy dt, which is where we started on over here, is equal to negative 20 times x, which is negative 2, over 1 plus negative 2 squared squared. And we're also told what dx dt is. It's 3. So that looks like it's a positive 40 on top. That looks like it's going to be 2 squared, which is 4, plus 1 is 5 squared. It looks like it's going to be 25 on the bottom and a 3. I guess I can remove a 5 out of both of those, giving me 24 fifths. And since dx dt is in centimeters per second, I'm going to assume that dy dt will also be in centimeters per second. Does that answer? Does that?
It does. I didn't do it that way. I tried to do the
quotient rule?
way.
Well, even if I do the quotient rule, I got the bottom times the derivative of the top minus the top times the derivative of the bottom all over the bottom squared. That gives me on top a 20, oh sorry, and I forgot the chain rule again, dx dt. So I got a negative 20x on top. I've got a 1 plus x squared squared on the bottom and a dx dt at the tail end. It looks to me like I got the same thing regardless of which method I use. Right. By the way, in the second part, dy dt is going to equal to 0 centimeters per second because the top has got a 20 times an x. It's going to make the whole thing 0. And lastly, dy dt, when it's positive 20, is negative 20 times positive 20 over 1 plus 20 squared times 3. So on the top I'm going to have a negative 20 squared. On the bottom I'm going to have a 401 squared, all times 3 centimeters per second. I don't know what that number is. It's really big. Okay. All right.